If dining was just about eating great food, I'd stay at home and cook for myself because I cook well enough to make a really great supper every night. But it isn't. It's about that experience of going out, and it's about that experience of being cosseted and looked after.
Now, if you were to be blindfolded and placed in certain parts around the country, then with your eyes still covered, you were given a sample of the local cuisine. It's a good bet you could probably tell what part of America you're in if it was the local cuisine. That's the beauty of local food culture here in America, which tells us a lot more about us than we might think. Our guest is a recurring judge on the Food Network's hit program Iron Chef and author of the gastronomically revealing book, Fed, White, and Blue, Finding America with My Fork. It's a pleasure to welcome Simon Majumdar to MidPoint. Simon, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Pleasure. How'd you come up with this idea? Because quite frankly, it seems to me that if you were to cut across America and try to taste the local cuisine, you'd be doing this for the next 300 years.
Oh, you really could be. You know, I married an American woman back in 2010, and I didn't just want to be a resident in the United States. I want to be fully part of the process, to be able to vote, to do all of that. And to do that, I had to become a citizen. And I wanted to find out what that meant, what it meant to become, one of you guys. And so the only way I knew how to do that was through food. So I asked people out there in the United States to invite me to come and be part of their food experiences. And they really did. They invited me all over the country. And the hard part was actually figuring out what I couldn't put in the book because I only had 80,000 words to play with. But I hope it gives you a taste of some of the magical experiences that I had on my travels.
Now, you said food experiences, so we're not really just talking about a cooking competition here. What you were looking for is not only the food itself, but what made the food special in that specific place in America?
Yeah, and the people particularly, because I'm a great believer that people are part of that word the French use, terroir. They're part of the context and they're what makes food special. And it's also a really great way to meet people. Once you sit down with someone and share a meal with them or find out their food history, you know a lot more about them. So it really wasn't just about going to a restaurant and filling my stomach. That's fine, but it's not particularly interesting to anybody. What I was trying to do was use food as a way to get to meet these incredible people, which I did, whether they were farmers or fishermen, brewers, distillers, whether they were barbecue competition people or competitive eaters. I met all kinds of incredible people. And what I did is, I hope anyway, put together what I call my new American family. And I'm now an American citizen. And a lot of these people I met on the journey are now my really dear friends. So I think I succeeded in that.
Now, with Iron Chef and cooking competitions such as that, you're always looking for something that is unique, something fancy, something special, if you will. It seems to me that what we have here is a lot of burgers, a lot of comfort food, a lot of barbecue, a lot of that, what is really simple food, which to a lot of people, and I got to be honest with you, a lot of my friends who live overseas, they say, I can't eat your food. It's terrible. It's awful. All it is just fast food, but you were looking for something different, and you found that, didn't you?
I did. Your friends are wrong. So
good to hear. Now you made us all feel better. Those of us who are going out for a cheeseburger on Friday night, we all feel better now.
But you know what? Sometimes you need someone from outside to go, there's nothing wrong with a great cheeseburger. I love me a great cheeseburger. Look at me. I look like a man who loves a cheeseburger. But I think what you've got here in America is unique. You've got this real hybrid of food from all over the world that's informed by trade and immigration, even by war. So food has come here in lots of different ways. And what you've got from the earliest native settlers through, who taught the first pilgrims how to raise corn, from, the German immigrants who brought barbecue to this latest wave of Asian immigration and immigration from Latin America, who are bringing these waves of incredible cuisine with them. And what you've got here, I genuinely think is one of the most interesting, and I hesitate to use the cliched word melting pot, but you have melting pot of cuisines anywhere in the world. And I can speak to that because I've been all over the world. I've been to nearly 70 countries. I've been to every state in the United States. And I think I can say that we really do have some of the most exciting food. And I use the word we because I'm now an American citizen. And I'm really proud of the food we have here. We have people who are really working hard to grow amazing food. And yes, there's a downside. Yes, there's a lot of fast food, but there's also some really incredible stuff here.
Where did you go? I mean, you've been so many places, but give me an example of one place you went where you were expecting something, but you got so much more than what you really thought.
Well, I went to some places where I was hoping to go and to be invited, and I got exactly, in fact, more than I expected. So I went to Maine to catch lobster and make a lobster roll, and that was just as remarkable as I hoped. And the same when I went to Alaska and caught salmon. One of the most remarkable experiences, though, I had no idea. And I was invited to a kosher barbecue festival in Overland Park. And I had no idea there really was such a thing as a kosher barbecue festival. But I got invited by this now very dear friend of mine, Mendel Siegel, who's a rabbi, works for the Vard in Overland Park, to go to this kosher festival. The food was terrific, and the atmosphere and the hospitality were just unbeatable. And they've become part of my family. And in fact, so much so that I'm going back again this year, and I'm going to host another barbecue festival in Dallas. So it was a community that I didn't even know existed. And I'm guessing a lot of people wouldn't know exists, because I get a lot of people when I mention it go, really? Really? It exists? They invited me to be part of it. And that's something that I thought was really special. And that wasn't my only experience of that, but it was certainly one of the most memorable.
All right, now, all the different areas of the country, we all think barbecue in the South or Texas, or we think of seafood in some other places. What place that you visited had a different food than what you thought? Because now as an American, you get all these same feelings. It's a specific kind of food there. Steak one place, lobster another. Any place you hit that it just said, wait a minute, I didn't expect this here.
That's happening all over the country, to be honest. And one of the places, for example, is in Texas, where there's a big Vietnamese community, and there's some really interesting hybrid food almost going on between local Tex and Tex-Mex and the Vietnamese community. And there are places now that are doing boiling crabs and crab boils, but with Vietnamese flavors. And I think that's what makes it so exciting. It's not just one place. That's happening all over. Here I am now. My wife here I am in LA, and my wife is Filipino American, and the Filipino food now with second generation chefs is really beginning to come into the community. The same with Korean food, which has become, I think, arguably the most sexy food in the United States right now. And I think that's what's happening now.
All right, Simon, I only got 30 seconds left, so I need to ask you this. As a man who knows his food better than anybody else, this is your question. On a hot dog, mustard or ketchup?
Mustard.
There's a reason why I like you, young man. That's the perfect answer, because ketchup does not belong on a hot dog. There you go. We've answered that. See, now I have the professional behind me, so I can say that I got it right all these years. Outstanding. I want to remind everybody the book, once again, is Fed White and Blue, Finding America with My Fork. I can hardly wait to dig into this book and then dig into some of the places with some of the great food around this country. Simon Majumdar, thank you so much for being here. Good luck as an American, and keep going after that cheeseburger.
I will do.
All right, take care. Today is Equal Pay Day across America, which brings with it plenty of misconceptions and lots of issues about who is actually telling the truth when it comes down to the money they make and why they make it. That's coming up next, right here on MidPoint.